Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Tier 2020 stream for this afternoon on a Sunday where there's a lot going on in the real life F1 scene as well. We're going to Britain today, as this whole weekend is set for all the three tiers, and it will be a very thrilling race for sure if there are some weather conditions that will change through the race. So we'll quickly go on to a track video and a hot lap.
And we're all set to go across the Silverstone circuit and see how it is you do a hot lap around here. Onto the start finish straight as you get ready to encounter Abbey, the flat out right hander T1. Through Abbey, now through the turn, left hand turn of Farm. As you brake at turn 3, a late apex slightly, which then shoots you onto turn 4 of Arena. Exiting out of Arena, it's important that you get onto the throttle as quickly as you can because that determines how much speed you take through this first DRS section of the Wellington straight before having to brake at turn 6 Brooklands, taking a very late left apex over there as the car shoots itself out of Luffield, as you can see jumping out of Luffield, then onto Whitcourt, Casey getting massive oversteer through there. Like most esport drivers, we stick to the right hand side as much as we can. Now through the fast right hander of Cops, which then sets the car for the three most beautiful corners of this track, jumping through Maggots turn 10, 11, 12 and 13. These are the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel complex. As you see, we are jumping out of Chapel, getting onto the DRS straight of DRS zone of Hanger Straight. And this is a massive overtaking zone because a lot of drivers are going to determine their strategy. Talk to Jeff through this section before Stowe. As you can see, the car is going through Stowe right now. Casey not taking too much advantage of the track limits on the left. Locking up hard through Vale, turn 16, as the car shoots itself out of club again. And this is how you pretty much take a lap across the Silverstone circuit, and Casey shows us how to get that done.
Well, that was really a thrilling lap from one of our OG drivers and admins, KC66. In Combox with me today, I have Couple with me. Hi, Couple.
Hey folks.
And Nirma as well. Hi, Nirma.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, some old boys I see over here. Couple, obviously, one of the first drivers and one of the admins as well. And so do we have Nirma. So Nirma and me, season 5, a lot of battles we had on track and we spun a lot as well, I'm sure. Didn't we?
We had our teammates dominating while we were at the back of the pack. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we'll quickly go on to into quali because these guys have readied up. They're all sitting in the pits, probably checking out their tire sets that they have, etc., etc. The the telemetry shows us that it's a slight cloud cover, but dry weekend or quali and race sessions. So we do not have to worry about that much. Unfortunately, for us viewers and commentators, it's a little bit of a bore when we don't have weather variability, unlike yesterday's race in the tier 2. So, what do you guys think about this track, and do you all have any kind of predictions for the race?
Prediction for the race, I'll expect 3 cars crashing out in turn 1, obviously. And expect 2 more cars going out at Maggots and Beckett's, obviously. And I think tire wear is going to be a major problem for these guys around Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel because they're going to need the grip, and I'm going to expect a lot of guys spinning around. But since this is 2020, I honestly have forgotten how the cars feel in 20 as compared to 21. So I'm expecting these two sections of the track to be a major issue for these 14 drivers on the grid.
Well,
It's gonna be slightly different from me, I suppose. It's gonna be. Um, I have a feeling there's going to be a spread out race. I'm just thinking there's going to be one bad egg, if you will. We're going to be jumping around the field a lot. But I actually have my bets on this being a very spread out race. We'll have to wait and see.
yeah, absolutely. And we've seen how Assassin, as we can see ahead of Ace's Scope right now on track, going through turn 2. He's technically, I mean, practically itself, dominating the field, going away, racing into the horizon, into the long distance, making those gaps, keeping it clean, getting pole positions, and oh, right.
And Ripe gets a 5 place grid penalty for collision with. What? Good job, Ripe.
Well. Already something of a mix in the battle over here, and yeah, well, we'll move on from there because that must be something unfortunate. But yeah, he has a 5 place grid penalty. He has to live with it. In the meantime, uh, as we were talking about it, Couple seems to feel that there's gonna be a spread out grid today. So we'll have to see. But I hope there's something of a mix in terms of safety cars, because that'll change the whole scenario for drivers who are trying to do a straightforward soft to mediums or soft to hards to the end of the race.
And you know about Ripe, want to see if he has damage or if it's just a slight tap to the Haas car. Yeah, there it is. Yellow front right wing. Interesting. So he just went full send into, I don't know, is it acid or A5 ID? What?
It's acid 85.
It's acid 85. All right. So it's acid with an S. Cool. Thank you.
Yes, acid with an S. Ah,
As we have Twisted Torque joining the race.
we have no clue
Interesting.
who he is, so I hope he leaves. Thank you, sir. Thank you for leaving.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. He just got a call, shout out on stream. It is
Yes,
all planned.
yes. And as we say that Ripe's on a hot lap, we'll stay on board him and see how he does his lap. These are all initial periods, so it's not really representative lap times. Track's still a little bit less rubbered as it would be towards the final part, and he has invalidated his lap as well. Let's go on board his teammate, who has also invalidated just as we go on board him. Well, that was through cops, I presume, and yeah, he absolutely cradled that inside curve, and probably that costed him that lap time. So we'll move on and see how some of the other fast boys are doing. Sager is on a hot lap as well, just coming through, approaching cops, goes flat, and there's a
Oh,
spun
and we have a
Shalala.
spun Williams of Charles Leg, I suppose.
Yes, Charles Lake, Shalalak, Madhav, many names, man of many names. We'll go on board
Yeah.
Sager in the meantime, see how his lap is looking as he goes through
He's
the.
also known as Shalalak Chan on our Discord. Shout out to our Discord if you want to be a part of the racing community and get along with other racing enthusiasts. Join our Discord. As we have Sager reaching the final few corners of the lap, that's cradling the apexes, touching these apexes, going a little wide, cutting back, and again goes a little too hard on the sausage curve, and that's a what's the lap? I cannot see; it's too pixelated.
125.8. So that's the fastest lap provisional pole at the moment. Reese and Aces Scoop have done 127s, which obviously is not their actual lap times. Reese is a much faster driver than this. I've seen him in the initial races of Tier 2020, and yeah, they're teammates right now. He's gotten a permanent seat in Renault for the last two races. Let's see how he is able to fare going on into this race, into the last two races of the season.
Now that you say that Reese has gotten the permanency for the last two races, how would you describe Reese for any new viewers of the Tier 2020 stream? How would you describe Reese as a driver?
Well, I saw him drive in Monza particularly, and he did seem pacey. But the thing is, he had unfortunate incidents. So the pace is there, but he has to stay away from incidents which could cause him either to lose good chances of the podium, or you know causing other collisions, like himself making mistakes. So it's just that I guess he's fast but needs to get some experience in terms of race time.
So basically, Yuki Tsunoda.
Well, I do not want to compare him to Yuki Tsunoda because he's definitely taller than Yuki Tsunoda. So
Oh, yikes. That's a yikes from me, Chief.
Well, moving on, a small update on the championship standings. So, Neon N3ON is the leader in the championship standings with 98 points coming into this race. He is currently on an out lap. Let's go on board him and see what he's up to. He hasn't yet uh, set a time, and so we'll have to wait and watch where he comes out post quali. Australia was a mix of a lot of positions for him, and he did not do well in quali particularly, but in the race he ended up coming P2 or P3. He was on the podium for sure, I remember. So he's the leader in the championship standings. Inc in the Racing Point is a close P2 with a 6-point deficit to Neon. And SSG Assassin, who's been doing really well in the last few races, has caught up to them and is in P3 with 91 points. So that's 1 point deficit to Inc and 9 points deficit to Neon. So this is very close going into the final 2 rounds of the championship. Equal in
Quite
points with him.
reminiscent.
Yeah, yeah.
Quite reminiscent of the real life F1 championship.
Well, to be honest, it's just P3 and P4 in our Tier 2020 standings who are equal on points going into the last 2 races. Manish Kanchan a close P4, and he's had a bad string of races in the last few rounds. I think last race he had few incidents. Australia was particularly not kind to him. Um, and yeah, he was doing really well. I remember the Baku drive. Him and Sharalok were battling throughout the race. Some front wing damage was there, but it was still wheel to wheel and diffuser to front wing racing throughout the race between these two. And yeah, since then I've not seen anything notable from him, from what I can recall. So he still has a point to prove. He's not very far off from the championship leader.
Once we're on board with Neon, uh, probably gonna have the driver in front impede him as he goes through cops. He's getting close and close to Ink, and that's very close to Ink. Too close for comfort. I don't know if he ghosted by the time he reached, but that was too close. Probably a report because I think that might have costed him his lap, and he has invalidated his lap already. I don't know if that was before or after the Ink incident.
It was after the neon, sorry, when after the Ink incident. So Ink was on the racing line going through cops, and the in 2020 the drivers can commit very easily through cops because the cars are so planted and have enough downforce for it. So he had to take some avoiding action, go away from the apex to avoid Ink, and went wide and invalidated. But nonetheless, he's again on a hot lap. He has recharged enough to start it, and he's gone wide at a turn 1 already, passing some of the cars on the outside. Probably was acid, I'm not sure. And turn 2 looked fine. Turn 3 again, missing the apex a bit, losing the car little on throttle, and that was not a particularly great sector. First few corners through turn 3, but
But turn
nonetheless.
three was actually better than this previous attempt. This attempt was at least better in turn three, I would say. But turn one, I completely missed the apex, I must say. And as he goes, I don't know, relatively better. But now let's see if Ink is still waiting for him over there to give him a surprise.
Well, he got a brilliant slipstream from Ink, but going through cops, uh, he had to go off track to avoid a collision. And as we saw over there, he had to lift off a bit and steered a little too late. He's missing the apexes, understeering a ton. I don't know if it's a setup issue or as we say in IRC, skill issue. But
Skill issue.
let's not be that bad because he is leading the championship standings by 6 points for a reason. He's definitely not lacking skill.
If you're not toxic, are you even racing or gaming?
Well. Braking on the curbs through the final chicane and the final
Missing
turn.
the apex like the Titanic could not miss the iceberg as he hits the final lap. That's a 129.3. It's a 126.3. He is 4 tenths off the pace from SSJ Assassin and 1 tenth more from Sager. Yikes.
Well. That's perfectly fine because that's his. That was not the best lap, and on top of that, it was on one lap old tires, so the tires weren't at its peak performance.
Skill issue.
In the meantime, Manish Kanchan, whom we were talking about earlier, is on an outlap and he's trying to put on a set of mediums and do his best runs. So, and as we say that, a spinning Alpha Tauri in the background over there. I think that was Vinay, who's currently in P6. There you go, facing the wrong side. He's gonna get
You're facing the wrong
disqualified.
side, my friend. No, please turn around. There we go.
Thank
There
God.
we go. Yes. Thank you, sir.
So there are
Off you go.
Yeah, and as I was talking about Manish, so he's gonna start his hot lap. He has, we'll stay on board him and see how it goes. I think he's on a keyboard, and yeah, the inputs must be proving it. So he has space on the keyboard for sure, and we'll see how he does on the mediums. That's a brave call to try and set a quali lap on the mediums, to be honest.
It's actually on a keyboard. What? It's very, very linear movement.
Hmm. Well,
Let's go. Keyboard warrior. Let's go.
Charles
Going for
like
the
having
right turn.
some issues.
I understand, man. I'm having some Wi-Fi issues. I wish I could throw my router out the window.
Cops was
Going through comp,
just
yeah, that's just close to comfort. As he goes to Mackets and Beckett's, the place that I do not like because I'm never good on it, misses the first apex, hits the second, kind of, sort of hits the third, gets the DRS, and is gonna go flat out until he reaches Chapel.
No, that was good, Maggots and Beckets. He missed the first apex, but he made up well, and he was able to get on throttle early to exit it perfectly for that short hanger straight. And yeah, now he's going to the final chicane. Let's see around the final turn how his traction looks. Looks peaceful, looks fine. He's exhausted his ERS, and that puts him P4 on a set of mediums. He's just 3/10 of Neon's fastest lap at the moment. That's really good. That was a really good lap, to be honest.
And he's 4 tenths faster than Acid with an S.
Well, we'll see how it works out for
Never
him.
mind, Mercedes, Eric Griffin 54 goes a little better and he goes almost a tenth quicker than Manish Kanchan on the softs. So I mean, you already know who is quicker among those two teammates.
Well, on different tires, are you forgetting that Manish has set it on mediums? So
Ex-
that's.
I meant it that
Oh,
way.
sorry.
Manish
Oh,
Kanchan.
yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
Big brain, skill
Big brain
issue.
gone. Well, Saja's on a hot lap. He's going through hanger straight. Let's see how his lap time
A purple
improves.
sector 1 and sector 2 was yellow, but can he do better on sector 3 to not let SSJ Assassin get the pole position for the race? Final few corners, Harshit, take it away.
Yeah, he's just at the apex. He gets the exit perfectly fine, and he has gone 2 times faster than his previous lap time. And it's a 125.6. So the total time difference to SSJ, the time delta to SSJ is now 3/10. SSJ is obviously not put his fastest lap time yet. Uh, he's approaching Maggots and Beckett's on his out lap currently, and we'll wait and watch how it goes. In the meantime, I think Ink is on a hot lap, who's in P3 and it is 3/10 of pace. Wait, did he just lift off before Maggots and Beckett's?
I honestly didn't pay attention to his throttle inputs. I don't know.
Well. He seems to be going flat out. And he has turned the ERS off, so the ERS deployment's on recharge, none now. So I think he's going to dive into the pits on fresh tires. I
Full
don't know
send.
what's wrong. I honestly don't know what's wrong. So let's move around and check SSJ Assassin's lap now. This is probably his final lap. He has hit that turn 2 really well, perfectly fine. Turn 3 apex, perfect. Getting onto the exit curb slightly, but not too much, or else he's going to lose some traction. Takes a little bit of a shallow line through turn 4, but now that shot straight, going into this fourth gear probably, but fifth gear seems perfectly fine. Higher the gear, more the cornering speed, and he seems to get the perfect exit from Brooklands as well. Brooklands, sorry, excuse me. Uh, Approaching cops at the 50-meter board, he tries to turn in, gets a ton of understeer, but somehow controls it and keeps it on track. Had to lift off massively, takes all the inside curve possible at Magnussen Beckett's, but goes extremely wide at the exit, and that will cost him quite some time. As you can see, purple sector 1 and sector 2, he's lost all that speed, and he's 200ths off his pole, off his fastest lap. Nonetheless, through Chapel, approaching the final set of turns, he takes that inside curve with the sausage curve, unsettles his car a bit, but I can see some desperation sitting in over there, and he gets pole position by 3 tenths.
Pole position by just 300th of a second.
Yep, he improved his personal lap time by 3 tenths, and he got pole position by 300. So that's a that's not his best lap because his sector 2 was really compromised because of all the mistakes through cops and through the Maggots and Beckett section. So nonetheless, he's on provisional pole, and the session is in its remaining time, 2 minutes 48
One of
seconds
the drivers
approx.
that actually flew under the radar was Charles' leg. He disconnected, connected again, spun around on the back straight, and now he's on P3. Probably going for another lap. He's already yellow sector 1, so let's hope he gets the sector 2 and 3 right. But talking about Sager and SSJ, both of them very similar to each other because both were purple sector 1. We don't know what happened to Sager in sector 2, but in sector 3, both of them were again purple sector 3. As we have Charles Leg sextants of this time, so yeah, it's just a Sunday chill drive now at this point.
Well, I will quickly get the best lap times over here because if what I see is correct, Ace's Scoop who's on a hot lap. Oh, he's not on a hot lap, but he's on 3 lap old softs, and this seems to be something the uh, Ferrari drivers have always done. They always are on older tires when the race starts. And let's quickly see who else is on a hot lap. Ripe seems to be on a hot lap, and so no, Manish is not on a hot lap. It's his AI in front of him, and that is gonna curb Ripe's lap for sure. As we go through cops, he somehow managed to keep it on track. He dives down the inside. Oh, Manish has disappeared from the session.
Well, that just helps Ripe a ton. Let's hope this kid gets it through the Mackenzie Beckett section. He does, still not invalidated. He's green sector 1, green sector 2. He's 800th off of his time, but now getting that boost and the slipstream from Manish Kanchan's AI. Thank you so much. And was gonna go through Chapel.
He's on low fuel mode.
Oh, 9! What is this? What is this? I want a Disney fairy tale ending, not this Marvel DC ending. What is this?
Well. Neon has put in a better lap than his previous one. He's on P3 with a 126 triple one, and that puts him P3. Yes, as I said, 400ths ahead of Charles Leg. I don't know, man.
Charles Lake.
Keep one name, please.
Shalulek Chan.
Yes, and
That's his Discord name. Yes.
and his teammate, who's Ace Scoop for today, is on P5 with a 126.16. So that's probably five. Yeah, that is 500ths away from his teammate. That's a very close P2, P3, P4. Sorry, P3, P4, P5, and P6. All of them very close. Actually, if you look at it, all the way till P10, from P3 to P10, they're all in the 126s, and they're not very far off from each other. A tenth between each other. The biggest gap probably is between P7 and P8, when about 3 tenths away from Reese. Well. Good quali session. Somdev has not yet set a hot lap, so he probably will start from the back. So didn't Mighty Owl. Mighty Owl had a quali ban, if I presume correctly, and yeah, that's why he is down in P13. nonetheless, a quick recap of the standings, quali results. SSG Assassin pole position by 200s, probably 300s, I should tell. Sager in P2, Neon in P3, Shalalock in P4, Aces Scoop P5, Ink in P6, Reese in P7, Vinay in P8, Eric Griffin in P9, and Manish Kanchan in P10. Acid Ripe take the last two qualified positions, that's P11 and P12. Mighty Owl with the quali ban is in P13, and Sohamdin unable to set a hot lap today in P14. And a 5 place grid penalty from what I see over there between Ripe and Acid because of that contact initially. So that would probably put both of them at the back of the pack. So these two drivers who had a quali ban and who couldn't set a hot lap will probably be in P11 and P12 at the race start.
I'm expecting two reports as of now. One is the neon and acid incident, and the other one is the ink incident. Uh, that was just too on the edge. He could have easily touched ink, and both of them probably would have been unable to partake in the qualifying after the damage they would have had. But that was beautiful car control by the Red Bull, avoiding the ink on the inside.
Well, as the drivers ready up quickly, get their setups, the small changes like front wing probably, and all of that, that's what they'll have to look at. After they're done with that, they'll be ready to go, and can't wait to see how the race unravels over here because SSJ, like I said, really doing well in the last few races, and we have to see how he does today as well because that is technically the fight for the championship happening at the moment. Shaluluk is at P5 or P6 in the championship standings with 79 points. So he's about 10 to 11 points. Yeah, about 10 points away from P3, P4. That's SSJ and Manish. And he's starting in P4 today. If he drives a clean race, unlike the how he's unfortunately been spinning or getting punted off track or getting involved in incidents basically in the last few rounds, then he could have a good shot, a good comeback, I must say, because he definitely has the pace. He's our XT2 champion and constructor champion, where he heavily carried the team to the win. Did he, Nirma? You will be the best man to tell
I was the driver who won the Australian race. I don't know what you're talking about.
that. And after that, we both forgot what driving is from there on, I guess.
I got P4 in Canada. Other than that, I was just completely horrible in the season.
So yeah, that's Charles' leg for you guys. He is a fast driver. Don't count him out from the championship battle yet. It's mathematically
He's
possible.
fast. He's fast, but he's very inconsistent. I would say there are some tracks where he will completely dominate the guys. There are some tracks where he'll just keep on spinning like a, a what a maspin. I guess I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but yeah. I mean, okay, that's a very weaving Ferrari in the back. This camera angle looks beautiful. That's we have Charles Leclerc, the Iceman, not warming up his tires because he knows turn one is gonna be chaotic, and I predicted turn one was gonna be chaotic. So let's see what happens.
Yes, absolutely. And both the Mighty Owl, who is in P11 because of those grid penalties for acid and drive, and Manish Kanchan, who qualified on those set of mediums, they both are on mediums, P10, P11, and Ripe at P14 is on a fresh set of mediums as well. He's gonna do the reverse strategy, probably pull as long as possible on the mediums and get some consistent lap times. And yeah, that should set up the race well for him. We'll have to wait and watch how it goes because the overcut on this track, not particularly the best. As we say that, 4 lights. I don't see the lights. 5 lights, and they're not yet away. We have to wait. Yeah, we are away to away they go. SSJ gets a very bad start. Sager has taken over from him. Neon has taken P2 from him, and Sager goes really wide into turn one, and they have taken it clean, at least at the top. In the meantime, Charles almost trying to dive down the inside of SSJ, but now he's getting compromised and he's going to get overtaken by the Ferrari of Ace Scoop, who touches his rear wheel probably and loses a position due to that. That was a quick
And
getaway.
we have yellow flags. We have right at the back of the grid, and we have a Haas of Acid. Both of the guys already at the back of the field because of penalties are now falling way back of the pack. Acid and Ripe completely away from the pack as we have the Ferrari going wheel to wheel with the rear of Eric Griffin's Mercedes, and he gets the move done. But we still have a lot of cars close by each other. We have the two Mercedes going close by each other. Both of them go through cops unscathed. But that was a beautiful start by Neon.
Absolutely. More than a beautiful start from Neon and Sager. They got it perfectly fine. They didn't have to do anything extraordinary because SSG had a lot of wheel spin and he got bogged down a lot throughout his starting phase. So he lost all of those positions. In the meantime, Manish seems to have gotten two positions. He overtook his teammate and now he's overtaken the Ferrari of Aces Scoop, who is on a fresh set of softs as well. And Eric Griffin dives down the inside, gets Aces Scoop over there, and Aces Scoop losing another position to Sohamde from around the outside. They're going to go wheel to wheel almost through turn one. No, Sohamde has gotten the move done.
No, I don't want to be in Aces Scoop's shoes right now. He's lost a ton of positions as he rear ends Sohamde right there.
Oh, did I miss something?
Yikes! Yes, you did.
Uh,
Can we see his damage, or is that not possible? I think he might
nah.
have some front wing damage. He
Yes.
completely rear-ended Sohomde as he hit the corner, and he's losing another position to Reese. He's already down P11.
Yep, he's lost a ton of positions. He started really well. He started in P5. And as we say that there is a swap between Shalolok and SSG Assassin. SSG Assassin has his race has gone from bad to worse. He's staying off track to make sure he doesn't get a warning over there, but I don't know if that works all the time. He's lost a position to Charles Leg again. He's in P4 now. Sager in P1 and Neon in P2. Shalolok in P3 now. That's really good for Charles Luck because it will help him in the championship battle. And somewhere at the back of the field, we had Mighty Owl and Reese just go side by side to the exit of Maggots and Beckett's, and now through Chapel, I think Reese is going to try and come back really strong over here. He definitely needs to because he has the pace, but taking curbs like the sausage curb over there will not probably help his cause. We'll have to wait and watch how his race pans out from here.
If you think you're not doing well in the race, just full send in inshallah. Trust me, it works.
Oh no, no, we do not want to do that here. We absolutely don't. In the meantime, Manish Kanchan, P6, on a fresh set of mediums he started. Sorry, not fresh, quali used set of mediums. Sorry, we have to look at this because now it looks like Ink is going to try to switch
Trying to
back
go for
around
the
Blue
switchback.
Girl.
That's a textbook switchback from Ink on SSG Assassin. SSG Assassin getting kid. He's getting absolutely schooled by Ink, who might be getting a bit. That was a, I don't know. That was just fantastic textbook overtake on SSG Assassin. I have no clue what's going through SSJ's mind, but he's already lost a ton of positions considering he was pulled by a very close margin.
Well, nonetheless, Manish has almost caught up to him. He's within DRS, but he's exhausting his ERS. He's on 30%, whereas SSJ is on 60. Manish technique, particularly seems to have this characteristic where he's hard on the ERS system. He deploys as much battery as he feels like, and yeah, suffers through the end of the race. And as we say that, I think Somde and ooh,
That
VSC
was
Ace's scoop is off somewhere. Let's see
Can
if
we
I
go
can
on
get.
what acid? We might be able to see what happened to Ace Book. Oh, he
There he
already passed
is.
it. Yeah. Oh, all right. So he lost his car after uh, Chapel.
Chapel. Yeah, I think he lost his car after Chapel and he's caused triggered the VSC to come out. Um, well,
Mighty Owl gets another 3 seconds penalty. So we have Eric Griffin on 6 seconds because I remember seeing him getting a 3 second penalty on probably the second lap or the first lap. Mighty, and then he got a second penalty before VSC, and now we have Mighty Owl also. a 6 second penalty and a 3 second penalty. I think Vinay is going to keep that in mind. As long as he keeps within 6 seconds, that's P8. Never mind, that's already P8 for Vinay. What? And we're going into racing condition again. It's green flag. Eric Griffin, Mighty Owl, very close to each other. Eric Griffin has a 6 seconds penalty, so he needs to pull out a huge gap for Mighty Owl.
Whoa,
And
whoa.
yeah, Eric Griffin, if you keep doing that, I mean, you won't be going far into the race.
Well, important to note, SSG Assassin is back in the lobby, but he lost a lot of time. Now we can't see that because the leaderboard's glitched out a bit. It needs to go around for one more sector to get the times and the gaps back. But yeah, he lost a lot of time because he went offline. He got kicked from the lobby. He's back, rejoined, and he's in control of his car. As we see the times appearing back, he's 1.4 seconds away from Inc. at the moment, and Eric Griffin, on the other hand, who was getting a lot of penalties for corner cuts, is now into the pits, and he has a 5 second penalty for speeding. I think he had front wing damage, which was causing him to understeer a mile, and that is probably the reason why he has made a pit stop onto a fresh set of mediums and will go on till the end of the race. But we'll have to make a stop to go on to softs, and we'll be praying for a safety car so that it helps him out. Meantime, Neon is within DRS range of Sager, and the top four are all within each other's DRS range, and they are running away from the pack. SSJ mainly losing so much time that he's lost about another second, and obviously Manish has gained it on him. As you can see over there, Manish, let's go on board him. He is on a move, and SSJ, on the contrary, seems to be struggling today on track after that quali session. He absolutely has no clue what he's doing over there. From pole, he's dropped back to P5, and now he's also gonna get eaten by Manish. He's lost a lot of pace. I don't know what the scene is.
As we stay silent and enjoy the car sounds, with Manish Kanchan on board and three drivers with penalties. Inc., Marial, Eric Griffin with the amazing speeding in the pit lane penalty, and Sager has left the session as he's in P6. And going back to what you said, Harry, SSJ leaving the session, was he kicked out on the race start or was he kicked out after the race start?
No,
Because
it
that
was
restart
under
was
VSC.
really
Under the
good.
VSC, he got disconnected, and then he rejoined just after it went green. So after it went green
Alright,
for
so
a sector or two, it was his AI driving, and that probably was the reason why he lost all that time. Now he seems to be getting his pace back, if you notice. Um,
but
he
then essentially he kept losing all of those places before the VSC, right? So that was all him, if I'm not wrong.
probably. In the meantime, teammates getting close to each other. Vinay losing a ton of time through cops and maggots and buckets, and now Mighty Owl is on his rare diffuser, getting a little squirmy on exit. They are fighting for position. It looks like Mighty Owl's using all of his ERS and DRS and is past Vinay. I think Vinay kind of let him go as well, understanding that he's faster. Goes wide at Chapel. Will probably get a warning for that, and yeah, they have swapped positions without losing much time. Sager, oh, we have not noticed this, but Sager is disconnected from the session as usual. He always has disconnect issues. He was in P1 and he's dropped all the way down to P6 now, and he's gonna get overtaken by Soham Day as well. And his AI will obviously make way to anyone and everyone who comes by. So Soham Day is up in P6. Sager losing 6 positions due to that unfortunate disconnection. I hope he comes back into the session really soon. In the meantime, let's go on board our new race leader, Neon, who is now closely being followed by Shalalock and Ink. And as I say that again, Someday has disconnected from the session. So we have 2 disconnected cars in P6 and 7. Mighty Owl coming really fast. And on the mediums, this will give him a lot of advantage because as you can see the tire graphic, tire status. Manish in P5 on mediums, and Mighty Owl will soon be in P6 on mediums, and that will help them because they can go much more deeper into the race compared to the drivers around and have fresh set of softs towards the end. Oh, what have we here? Shalulak has spun out at Chapel and has dropped 3 positions. He's in P5 now, almost getting overtaken by Somdev's AI, but he stays ahead because the AI will obviously let him go. But Mighty Owl is on his tail now, and he takes the inside line and takes that position as well, pushing him wide at the entry of onto the start finish straight. He lets the Williams driver past. Sherlock seems to be struggling a bit now because of that incident. I don't know what kind of a spin he had at Chapel, but that's put him in P5 now. And Manish, as we were talking about him, is in P4 on 7 lap old mediums. Oh, that was unfortunate.
All I will say is Sab Changa Si.
That's something which only a few would understand, and yes, I agree.
Well, it's a Punjabi word. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Well, like going back to what I said about Charles, Charles is actually quick, but then as long as he does not spin, it's cool because he's a consistent driver. So either he consistently spins or he's consistently quick. As we see that he has a lime green front left. If I'm not wrong, can you please confirm, Harry? If I'm not colorblind, probably.
Are we talking about?
Charles,
Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
the lime green front left.
Ah, that yes, he has. He does have that. He has damage on his front wing. The front left is gonna get probably end plate damage, but we'll have to see when he pits if it affects if he's gonna change that wing because it's definitely affecting his pace.
And if the pit window now open, so expect a lot of drivers jumping down into the pits for their medium tires. But now we have Eric Griffin again with another penalty. It's a penalty season for Eric Griffin. In the Mercedes, not good considering he actually qualified pretty good. Manish Kantan, on the other hand, is in P4. Charles Leg is holding up Mighty Auri, Sohamde, and Vinay back. And with that being said, Mighty Owl goes on the inside. Sean's leg locking up his front left, but then Mighty Owl goes too deep into it. While Reese, my what is it's too much information for me. Mighty Owl and now Reese and again battling as we have Charles leg going off into the horizon. Soamde might be rubbing his hands. The more they fight, the more chances Soamde has to get the move done. As we head into Maggots and Beckett's, these three drivers are still going hard at it. Mighty Owl is not going to hold back. Reese falls back a little bit too hard on the brakes, but now we have DRS for these two drivers. Charles is not going to have DRS. They're going to close the gap, probably a dive down the outside from Reese onto Chapel, Madhav, Charles leg, and they touch Martin, they touch.
Well, but the only difference is it's not Martin anymore and it's Harry. And as we say that, oh, trying to go side by side into the pit lane, but obviously Charles Leg is gonna be sad about that because Reese, with whom he was battling, uh, almost turned into him over there. It looked like, and they had contact, like you mentioned, and now they are both in the pits. This has gone from bad to worse from for Charlotte. And as I say that, yellow flags in sector 1. I'm not sure, but it's gone now. So Charlotte getting his wings changed as well.
That was a beautiful few corners from these 4 or 5 guys until Reese and Madhav Shaznek had an incident. What do you think? I think Reese turned in way too much and did not expect Madhav late braking to still hold on to the position because I think Madhav held his line pretty well. Reese, on the other hand, in my opinion, turned in way too much. So that's not going to be a report on Reese's end, but I think a report from Madhav's end. What do you think?
Well, that's too much to talk about at the moment because they're back on track. And as I say that, oh, Manish has stayed out. Obviously, Neon and Ink have pitted, and they are on the soft tires. So that means Manish stays in P1 now. He's gonna extend his stint as long as possible with those mediums, probably till lap 16, lap 17, and then pit for softs, fresh softs. Ripe has also overtaken these guys, gone into P2. That's a brilliant drive from a man who was starting P last. And now he's up to P2, but again, he's on 10 lap old medium, so he will have a lot of driving to do still to keep it in the points. SSJ Assassin, who is on a fresh set of mediums, will also be trying to catch up to the pack ahead. He's on P4 at the moment. That's surprising. I think he has undercut these guys because of that incident he had, if you remember, and that has put him in front of them now. Wow, that those pit stops did change a lot of things around because that puts SSJ back in the lead. He doesn't have to pit anymore from this point. Um, but and so doesn't Ink, Reese, Sohamde, Sager, and Vinay Sharlak and Acid. And Sharlak, obviously the unfortunate one over here, will not be able to uh, think of a podium at the moment because of that incident he had and the contact with Reese. Sager seems to have joined the session back. Manish Kanchan in the lead is extending that lead a little bit every lap, and as we say that we can't see what's happening at the moment, but yeah. Uh, Let me go back. Yeah. So Ripe in P2, Mighty Owl in P3, and the top three still have to pit, and they're the ones trying to extend that gap. Manish actually has the advantage over here if he's able to keep the pace up and probably pit probably exactly at lap 16 because or else he's going to lose a lot of tire performance and in turn and in subsequent turn of that some time as well. Let's wait for the sectors to be done so that we get the lap time, sorry, the deltas back. Last I remember, Manish had a 14.52 second lead on Ripe. So we'll wait and watch. Where is Ripe? Ripe just approaching the final chicane, and he's rounding up the final corner to get that. Oh, takes all the curve over there. He's 14.4 seconds, so it's a dilly-dallying time gap between the top two. Ripe is obviously trying to do as well as possible for SSJ Assassin, who is in P4. He needs some help to get that championship battle in terms of constructors to look a little positive for the Red Bull team. And yeah, I hope Ripe has a good race going on from here. About half race distance done. Yes, we are half race distance done, and we have one more half of the race left. There you go. We have the whole standings now. P6 and P5 in battle. Neon just overtaking Ink. They're probably going wheel to wheel through Chapel, but now they close. they are within DRS of each other, and Ink is trying to make a move on Neon. Neon is not in DRS to SSJ, and yeah, that explains the scenario. SSJ in the meantime very close to Mighty Owl, who's on 13 lap old mediums. He tries to dive around the outside in turn 3. Turn 3? Yeah, turn 2. On turn 3 exit, he gets it perfectly fine, and he gets the move done on Mighty Owl pretty well. And he also gets the DRS because he made the move after the DRS detection line. Well. It's turning out to be a great race till now because of all the pit stops and the incidents that happened specifically. Um, as we can notice that Ripe is also catching up to Manish Kanchan. Manish Kanchan being on the keyboard is only on a binary input device, and that will be hindering his tire management situation. As you can see on the telemetry on the left bottom, his front tires are absolutely frying. You can make an omelette on them, I presume. And yeah, he needs to be sure he is not hindering his race from here on. He can actually pit this lap instead of losing too much time because he has the time gap to be on the top 3, probably the top 4. He'll be in P4 after the pit stops, and we'll have to see if he makes that call. In the meantime, P5 and P6 battling it out on track, and Ink going around the outside of the track and makes that position on Mighty Owl. And Neon right now, caught up in behind over there, almost getting brake checked because Ink is trying to give the position back as he made the move off track to Mighty Owl. So now, in the matter of trying to get one, we have a VSC because Eric has retired from the session. Let's see if we can catch this on board someone. We'll have to wait.
Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen need to learn from Ink and the Ferrari Neon.
I don't
Because
really.
they didn't collide.
I don't know if there was any collision. We'll check if we can see it on our telemetry soon. But yeah, I think it's.
There was no collision.
I don't know, but
There
yeah,
was no collision.
Ink
There was no
definitely trying to give the position back, was brake checking with with Neon right behind him. So there was a lot of confusion over there, but it is just magical how they have not touched.
Yeah. They didn't say hashtag
And
blessed,
using, as you say, hashtag blessed, just like Lewis Hamilton got an Imola with a VSC just perfectly timed for him to get into the pits, get a fresh set of softs or whatever on, and go out during the safety car ending. So now that's Manish Kanchan who's doing it. Acid speeding under the VSC has a drive through, and as we say that Manish is going to be
Can
exiting
we
the
look at
pits.
the penalties? Can we look at the penalty situation for the guys behind? Because, oh, yikes. I mean, Manish Kanchan is already on an advantage as long as he does not getting the penalties. It's smooth sailing for SSJ, for Manish Kanchan, sorry. Uh, he just doesn't need to get penalties in the final 10 laps, and he might be easily be able to get the race win again. So yeah, just a little push, not too hard, as long as he stays within. Yeah, all right, yeah. Neon is just like, yeah, whoa, Mercedes, I'm just gonna pass through. Yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, have a good and fun race. Does
Well.
not care.
I agree. They came out wheel to wheel. When Manish came out of the pits, he was wheel to wheel with Neon through turn 3, 4, and I guess that's what you saw. But now with the soft tires and all of that advantage, he's gonna go around the outside cops. And what is gonna happen? And as I can see over there, Neon seems to be having front wing damage. He might end up understeering a lot, but he doesn't. He backs out perfectly fine. And yeah. I hope Neon's underplate issue, as we just noticed, doesn't affect him too much because that might put him out of contention for the race win or even P2, P3 on the grid. I think it's already gone because he has 3-second penalties and Manish is ahead of him on top of that. ASID in the meantime in P12 has a drive through, and I hope he knows that he has to give that serve that within the first 3 laps after getting awarded the drive through, or else he's gonna get disqualified. Ripe in the meantime, from the back of the grid, has pit after using those mediums for pretty long time, I think about 16, 17 laps, and now he's onto a fresh set of softs as well. Mighty Owl also has dived into the pits. He has a 5-second penalty that the game will make him serve, and he's gonna go on a fresh set of softs. And I don't know why he's not leaving. Yeah, finally he's left the pits. So I think he forgot that he has to release the car from the pits. There was a green light I remember seeing, and he was not releasing well. In the meantime, Ripe in P6, as I was telling, he started from the back of the grid, P14, and now he's in P6 and a fresh set of softs. And he's very close to Reese as well. So he has time. After overtaking Reese, he has 15 seconds to catch up to Neon, and Neon is not particularly fast because he has front wing damage. So this is going to be an interesting battle to see if Ripe is able to get to P4. And as I say that, it looks to be close between Manish and Ink is been overtaken by Manish. Manish on the fresh set of softs is utilizing every bit of tire from that to get as much up to P1 as possible, and he has 5.6 seconds gap to close up to SSJ and battle for the win, and he has 8 laps to try and do that. Charles Leg, meantime, after all of those mishaps during race, he is catching up pretty fast to Soham Day, and let's see if he's able to make the move on Soham Day, because that will put him in P8, and then he'll start chasing after Sager, who is in P7 from the lead. Unfortunately disconnected, and now he's back in the lobby, but he's in P7 with 6-lap-old mediums. I don't know how he's gonna figure out what to do from here. He has 2 cars ahead of him, both faster, and as I see that Reese has left the session, and that gives Ripe a free position, and so will Sager get it, because the AI will just back out of those situations so much and lose so much time. By the time he rejoins, he might lose 3 positions if I'm not wrong.
Well, I think Couple's prediction was kind of right, sort of, because now it's the field is kind of spread out, except we have like few group of cars. Well, if I look at the map correctly, we have a car in the pits. It's Acid with Ines in the pits. He's already ruined his race, so why not pit again? While we have Charles Leg on the gearbox of Soham there, this is going to be an easy move for him. Probably on the outside of Soham there. And is he going to cut in? No, he does not. He holds back. I have been corrected. Both of the drivers going through Chapel and now hard into the braking zone in this section of a few corners where you need good traction, and Reese joins the session again. Madhav trying to stay within the DRS range of Soham there is still 5 tenths behind him. So the long straight might be where he gets the move done if he stays too close. As Acid with the S is getting lapped, I assume, by the drivers, but he thinks he can overtake Charles Leg again, but then gets re-overtaken again, and now he gets the DRS and the overtake on Reese, who just rejoined the session again, might be getting double overtaken. No, he does not. So on the beautifully placing his car on the track, not giving Madhav any place to go. And Charles like thought about going on the inside and cutting into the inside of Soham, but then gets interrupted by Acid, who is getting lapped. Son, don't do that. You're gonna get penalized and you're gonna get reported. You should not be doing that. Yeah, he goes full send, distracting a lot of guys as we have Manish Kanchan again with a 3 second penalty.
That's not again, because that's his first 3-second penalty. So now he's fighting
Oh
for
yeah, sorry. Yes.
position on track. And as we say that, Madhav getting really unfortunate over there. Acid blitzing past these 3, he did momentarily cause some confusion.
And Reese and Madhav had a very beautiful incident a few laps ago. So I think Madhav might not be happy with what Reese did. Reese might not be happy with what Madhav did. But what we as commentators and viewers know is that that was really entertaining. The only few drivers with No penalties whatsoever. Sager P6, Sohamde P7. Charles Leg on the inside of Reese in P8 does not get the move done. Both of these drivers are going really aggressive. Sohamde on the front. Reese going oversteery a bit on the exit. But Madhav is now going to get the move done because of the beautiful corner exit through turn 4, I believe. And then going on the inside, Reese this time does not turn in early. Madhav gets the move done, has to lock up his front left. Soham there is his next target, but goes a little wide, giving Reese the opportunity to take the inside line as he does with style and precision. Gets the move done again. Madhav going for a cutback. Switches this lane, but now Reese has got the position back again. Beautiful racing by these two boys.
Well, brilliant racing or not, they are in a three-way battle for P7 with Sherlock on the back end of it, and he also has. Oh, Reese cutting aggressively in front of Soham. They threw that corner apex. That's sorry, yeah, Chapel, and just enough space for Soham to probably lift off a bit to avoid contact. That's some brilliant racing from these three for P7, and we have to win watch how the other drivers ahead are doing. Sager are only P6. Ripe, who's in P5, is on 10-second gap to Neon, so he's brought it down by 5 seconds, and he has only 5 laps to go. So that's a little too much to ask, probably, but we'll have to wait and watch how it goes. In the meantime, Manish Kanchan seems to have just dropped off a bit from SSG Assassin, probably on purpose because he doesn't deem it necessary to go any faster and get time penalties, I presume. Let's see the penalty status once to check it out. Yeah, they're all on 3-second time penalties, the top 5, and 6th, 7th, and 8th, the Sager, Reese, and Soam, they do not have any time penalties. So if Sager and Reese are able to catch up to the pack ahead, I think that will be perfect for the Renault team because they do not have penalties and they are also quite pacey, the two of them.
I think I might have jinxed Manish Kanchan. I think because I did say if he doesn't get any penalties, it's smooth sailing for him. So if this was a no penalty situation for Manish, uh, he just needed to close a 2 second gap to SSG Assassin, which is no easy task, might I add, since we've seen the pace that SSJ has. He's fallen down the order and he's gone back to get P1. Reese is 3 seconds, uh, has 3 seconds added to his race time since he has a 3 second penalty. The only two drivers, Sager and Soham, they with no penalties. Soham, they getting a little bit oversteering.
Well. Now Manish Kanchan again reeling in SSG Assassin. The gap was down to 4.9, but now it's gone to 5.2. I don't know what is happening with Manish tires or his race pace, but it's moving up and down so much that we could hear the song moving up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster. And as we say that Manish and Ink seem to be having a side by side battle, Manish has lost a lot of pace, has pushed Ink a little wide. I hope Ink did not get a warning for that, but the tire difference does not make sense at all because Manish has 6 lap old softs, which are easily supposed to be faster at this point. The telemetry graphic for the tires on left bottom also showing that Manish Kanchan has slightly worn out, probably that's around 25%. And oh, sorry about that, but we have to point out that they are going wheel to wheel through Brooklands and Manish is momentarily ahead, and that slight side pod hit has given the Racing Point driver of Ink some slight light wing damage on his front left, which is causing all of that understeer that you're seeing at the moment. And yeah, that is probably race over for Ink from here on. He might have to settle for P3. let's not forget that Ripe from a 15-second gap has brought the gap to Neon down to 5.9. Manish weaving aggressively. Oh, stays on the inside line and then has to. I mean, I do not know what Ink was trying to do over there, but he tried to stick to the inside line, committed over there. There was no space, went halfway on the grass, and somehow managed to slow his car enough. A slight tap from Manish meant he had no way to make that move, make that move complete, and now he is about a second behind, 1.1 second behind Manish. And as we say, that Ink gets a 3-second time penalty as well. That is just unfortunate. So Ink has a total of 6 penalties, 6 seconds of time penalties, and yeah, that's not gonna help his cause anymore. He might have time penalties, and the damage will be a little overwhelming to drive at the moment, and that means Manish just has to concentrate on keeping the car on track for the rest of the race with just 2.5 laps to go. In the meantime, Sherlock seems to be still battling Reese up in front. Uh, Soham Day has dropped back a lot of places. I forgot what kind of an incident they had, but yeah, Acid over there, a blue flagged car, not giving up at all, trying to get a switchback, is overtaking Reese again, going wheel to wheel with him for some reason. I do not know why a lapped car is doing that, but he might get reported for all of those, and I hope he's weary of all of that. Ink has dropped back almost 2 seconds from Manish Kanchan, so that is. And as you see that Astrid has retired from the session in the pits. He's gone into the pits and no, not on the pits. Oh my god. Let me try to go on board right to see. Ah, I have missed it all, haven't I?
Very bad.
Yeah, somewhere in the back. Nope. Yellow flags in sector 3, I presume. But yeah, I couldn't catch that. And Acid had spun out of Maggots and Beckett's and had lost his car and retired. So we are on board Mighty Owl now, who's in P11, 8 seconds uh, off the what do you call it? 8 seconds off P10. That's Vinay, who's his teammate, and I don't think there is any moves going on over there. Madhav and Reese going side by side. This is the penultimate lap, and obviously the moves will be getting a little more aggressive as the uh, as this lap comes to an end, because it's the final lap after this, and Charlotte gets momentarily ahead, but that slipstream is helping Reese, and the dirty air is not helping him as well. Sherlock having a moment over there through Cops, but now through Maggots and Beckett's, the dirtier outwash should be able to help him, but he understeers a ton out of Maggots and Beckett's, has to make some corrective steering measures, and he's wheel to wheel with Reese. Reese gets past him pretty easily, and Madhav now trying to stick to the inside line, and then yeah, tucks in behind, and one more lap. We have round 2 and the final round, and Sherlock gets a 3-second time penalty because of that. He dives down the inside, locks up his wheel, almost banging wheels, but still they give space to each other. That must have been a little bit of a desperate lunge down the inside, but yeah, he's lost the position again to Reese. And I will quickly see what the penalties are, because if that is the case, I think Sherlock is going to stay in P8 even if he overtakes him. He has to get a 3-second gap to even maintain P7. So yeah, this is just for pride and honor on track, because off track the results are going to be different due to time penalties.
I'm going to say these two drivers are my favorite drivers this race weekend. Beautiful racing throughout the entire race. They've consistently fought out the entire race.
And guess what? Ripe has caught up to Neon and is probably in a good position to make that move on the final DRS straight of the Hangar straight. I mean, and he goes wide into the exit of Maggots and Beckett's. He has DRS, he has no ERS, but he's going to try and make that move probably into the chicane coming up after Chapel. He's trying to dive down the inside, backs out just on time, and we missed it, but Manish Kanchan has finished the race as well in P2. The SSJ wins the race. Ripe again coming back to this Ripe, trying to break late, but I think from here on he knows that he's only going to get a P5. That was a brilliant drive from Ripe, but we'll go back down and see what is happening over here as Vinay has overtaken Somde. Somde is struggling today and has an orange left front wing, so probably that's what caused it. And wait a second, how did Charlotte finish ahead of Reese is still a doubt to me, but nonetheless, the top 10 have finished the race. Mighty Owl as well as just finished the race, and oh my god, that was a hectic final 2 laps, I must say.
That was brilliant. That was absolutely great. I liked the space. Right, the drive of the day. What do you think?
Yeah, he started from the back of the grid, like I said, P14, but he finished it in P5, and that was probably one of the best P5 or P6, and that was a really good drive to get some important, crucial points for the team. He closed in almost a 15.5-second gap in the second stint from lap 16 or lap 17 all the way to, I think, the final lap, and he was within touching distance, probably a lap more, and he would have had that place. Well, those are your final standings for today. SSG Assassin and P1 with the red for the Red Bull. That was a really good race from him. Did miss out because of the start. Lost a couple of positions, maybe more till P6. He dropped to P6, but he went back to the top. Manish Kanchan, a brilliant drive and got P2. Ink P3, Neon P4, Ripe P5, Sager in P6, Sharlock in P7, Reese in P8, Vinay in P9, and Soham Day in P10. Mighty Owl in P11, and the rest of the drivers did not finish the race. They DNF'd. Let's get the race director if possible, as the timer has seeming to tick down on me. I don't know if I'll be able to get all of it. Yep, that's all we could get. So let's quickly go on to the podium interviews, and as we wait for our drivers to come along, what do you think about the race today? How was it for you?
I was entertaining. You had collisions between drivers, you had incidents, obviously, and you had a really, really good wheel to wheel battle. You had the ink switchback, you had Reese and Madhav wheel to wheel throughout the race. Then you had the three-way battle between Soham De, Reese, and Shalak again. And then you had Vinay also coming to the mix every now and then. You had Manish Kanchan. Then you had SSG Assassin. Then, and, it's a lot of good mixture in this race today.
Absolutely. And as we wait for our drivers to join, I think we have all three of them here. SSJ P1, Manish Kanchan in P2, and Ink in P3. Well, great race for you guys. Let's start off with you, SSJ. Great race. Till the second stint started, you must have not been very comfortable because you seemed so off pace, and you start also, you lost 2 positions, and within the first few laps, you lost 3 more positions. So, talk us through that first initial few laps.
Yes, first off, congrats to the podium winners, Manish and Ink. Brilliant drive from both of them as well. So, yeah, Harry, well, it was a screw job on my part because I had set my traction control by mistake after the quali got over. So, that explains my horrid start and my horrid first few laps. I happened to notice it when I thought it was a glitch on the game's part because something like that happened to me during my practice runs as well. So luckily, I went back into my settings, like my assist, and I checked. I noticed that it was at full. So I set it back to medium, and yeah, I got back my pace. And well, I managed to carry it through to the end. Well, the undercut definitely paid off. I had to do it because I knew that the way it was going, I was not going to catch up with the guys in front who were Ink and Neon at that point. And of course, I also want to mention my teammate Ripe, who had a brilliant performance. Yeah, this is, by the way, this is not me asking. This is not him asking me to mention him here. I truly made it from the bottom of my heart. He started at the very end and at the bottom of the grid and managed to bring it home in P5.
Well, that was a brilliant drive from you and your teammate as well, starting from P14 all the way to P5. So good points for the team all in all will help in the championship, and for
Yeah,
you as well to get the win. And probably you will be taking, yeah, you will definitely be taking that P1 in the championship standings as well.
I hope so.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Harry.
All right, moving on to P2. Manish, excellent race for you, starting from P9, I presume, and you were on the medium tires, and that alternate strategy did prove really strong for you. How was it?
Yeah, actually, it was a good strategy. I had to take the gamble. Seeing from my quali pace, I didn't have the pace today to challenge for a top three spot. So I might as well take a gamble on the mediums, and it did pay out really good for me. I think I was right behind SSG Assassin, right before he made the pit stop. So I was around P4 or something, while Ink and Neon were fighting up ahead. So I knew I was in a a good position, challenging for the top three today. And unfortunately, the VAC did come at the same time, at the correct time for me when I was leading the race. It was kind of a cheap pit stop. I did manage to come out of the pits, but I was just overtaken by Neon. But then I somehow did manage to get back the position within a lap, and then subsequently with Ink also. So that kind of wraps up my probably the best position I could have been in today.
Absolutely. We were talking about it. Hamilton kind of luck in Imola. You had it in Silverstone with that VSC, and maybe not the full luck, but you had 50% of it because you
Yeah,
could save a little bit of time and were able to battle with Neon out of the pits, straight out of the pits.
right.
Well, GG's to that, and that will also help you in the championship standings. So let's move on to P3, that's Inc. Tell us about your racing. That was a lot of action for you, but
Yeah,
towards the end, I think it kind of became a little unfortunate that you had some front wing damage.
yeah. We had actually the action was too much in the last, actually, not in the first, and that's why I got the front wing damage. I think Manish will know that. So starters okay. I gained. I overtook that Axis Coupe. I think Ferrari. Then we are in the DRS train with Neon. Actually, we weren't battling. We were just trying not to hold up each other. Then what happened? Then SS Justin, what do you call, undercut us, and he had a 2 second gap. So I was trying to catch him up with the fresh new mediums, and then the Mighty Owl, I think, that Alpha Tauri car was brake testing me, Neon, and like for multiple, I think half a lap. So we lost around 4 5 seconds there. Then after that, Manish Kanchan overtook me with his fresh new softs. So I thought like he'll drag me along till Dan. So that also didn't happen. So I tried to overtake him 3 4 times, couldn't succeed properly. Then got the damage. So then Neon also had a some 10 second gap behind me. So easy P3 and good points for the team.
Absolutely, that kind of sums up your race. Yeah, I was really rooting for you because even on the old
Hello?
mediums. Hello?
Your voice is breaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it fine now?
I think it's from my side. Yeah. You can speak now.
Yeah, so as I was saying, just towards the end, even on those old mediums, you seem to be having the pace. So I was really hoping you could fight for for that P2 with Manish. But yeah, I think that front wing damage was unfortunate. But nonetheless,
Yeah, even I thought I could have gone much further in the grid with it. I didn't have a good quali. Like I had a good pace today, and with the race also, few mishappenings caused the win, I guess.
well, there's always that final race that's coming up for us in Bahrain, which is next weekend. So, well, brilliant race from you three and the rest of the grid. Ripe, a real shout out for that drive from P14 to P5. Important points for Red Bull in the Constructors Championship. And
I
nonetheless,
think sorry to interrupt. I think we wrapped up the constructors. No, we had 60 point lead now
uh,
with the
I
Red
am
Bulls.
I am not
Yeah, I think
100%
so.
sure, but
According to my calculations, me and Amrupan clinched it now. This race.
well,
Ripe is this thing, no?
Wow.
A reserve.
No, he's got a permanent seat.
he's got
Yeah,
an
still,
permanent.
then we're 4 points. We'll see in the next race then.
Absolutely. We
We'll
already
see.
have
We'll
the
see.
calculations going
Oh,
on.
God, already
I
calculations
am
going
watching
on.
you. I am watching
When
you, Ink.
yeah, we'll see each other.
Well,
Next
nonetheless,
next race, I'll undercut you.
well, nonetheless, a brilliant race, some good
Yes,
banter
yes.
going on, and with that, I think we'll end today's stream. Do tune in to watch our Tier 1 boys going around, and myself as well on that grid, going around the same circuit in the 2021 game tonight at, I presume, 9 p.m. But it could be 8:30 or 9. Do check our Instagram for the updates. And at the same time, don't forget today is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at 6:30 p.m. for the real life championship, and Max has gotten a surprise pole position. So we'll all be excited because this is the closest championship battle we have in a long time. Nonetheless, that's all for today. Have a good day, and we meet you soon tonight